Hey guys, it's TJ Lawton here, and today I want to help you have better rhythms by understanding something called rhythmic placement. Now, rhythmic placement is basically taking a rhythm and starting it earlier or later than just having it on the first beat. Because I notice a lot of producers, they'll start everything on the first beat, like their rhythms, the melodies, everything will happen on the first beat. So, as an example, I have here a standard 3-3-2, which is, there's 3/16, 3/16, and 2, and then it loops. And this is just a kick and a rim shot for the 3-3-2. And it sounds something like this. Most people would probably be like, okay with that. So there is a much better and quicker way to take this rhythm and really spice it up so it sort of congeals with the groove more and fights against it in a nice way rather than it just being like on every beat and just sounding quite static. So the first thing you want to do is just duplicate this across, so then you've got multiple notes outside of the loop. And then you just tap left once. Select it all and tap left once, and you'll move it all across. The loop is technically starting earlier, 1/16 earlier. So now it sounds like this. It sounds a bit spicier, a bit nicer, and yeah, you could definitely keep going with this and see what else you can come up with. So we go one more to the left. Quite like that. Another thing we can do is one more to the left. Although technically now we've gone so far left that now we're now in a 3-2-3 instead of a 3-3-2. But we can alternate this 3-2-3. We go one more to the left. That sounds kind of cool. We can just keep going. Now we're on a 2-3-3. Sounds kind of cool, very syncopated. And now we're back on the 3-3-2. So you can see how you can take a very simple idea, a very simple rhythm, and actually spice it up and make it more interesting so that it fights against, in a nice way, it fights against and congeals with the groove. Another example you might do is if I do just 3 notes, do 3/5 notes like this, make this longer, and then duplicate it. This is a very basic, equally spaced rhythm because every note is 3/16 notes apart from the last one just ends it. It sounds like that. We do the same thing again. We move this one to the left. Gets a bit more syncopated. That one sounds quite jagged. I don't really like that one, but maybe somebody will. That one's kind of nice. See how we've taken something that was very boring and very straight, and it's got some interesting syncopation without actually creating any new rhythms. You're just taking very standard, very well-known rhythms, and you're just sort of changing the placement. This is what I mean by rhythmic placement. So hopefully that helps you a lot in coming up with more interesting rhythms for your music and finding stuff that, go, oh wow, I really like how that fights against the kick and the other instruments. Because when you start layering this with different rhythms, you're really going to be like, wow, yeah, this makes a very interesting textured loop. Another thing I want to show you is if I extend this loop now and we do 4 bars, is I want to show the idea of like something called poly placement is what I call it, although that might not be the real name for it, I don't know. But the idea is that you take a rhythm or a section of a rhythm, and instead of placing it on every start of every bar like some people would, you place it in a polyrhythm or just place it differently. So let's say if we come up with a very basic rhythm like this, and what most people might do is they put it at the start of every bar like this. Very, very basic. But let's say instead we have this happens every third of a bar, sorry, every 3/4 of a bar. So you would duplicate it like this, and then you get something polyrhythmic place. It's a placement. It's the same rhythm, but it's placed polyrhythmically. But I would actually reset it after 2 bars because that might sound better. So we're taking now the same rhythm, but it sounds so much more interesting and so much more syncopated and spicy. But you don't have to use exactly what I've done here as a polyrhythm. You could even move this here, move this one here. So this one has two 16ths between it, but then this one has 4. So it's no longer a polyrhythm. It's something else now. Let's see what this sounds like. You know, and now it sounds so much more interesting and keeps the groove alive and keeps people interested for longer, because it's like, oh, this isn't the loop isn't so simple to comprehend. It's like you can make it go from a 1 bar to a 2 bar loop just because of the way you've changed the rhythms and you've placed them and stuff like that. So anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll try and upload videos every 3 to 4 days with more quick tips like this. So yeah, cool. Cheers. See you soon.